Yeah, very well said. And we're going to get into people's reserve next, but just to kind of double click on that, to Mason's point about what's it going to take for us to actually see these low borrowing rates enter the market. So I guess when we saw the Bitcoin ETFs come into market, it seemed like the ETF issuers had done their homework because they came in at really low fees, kind of showing that they understand that custodying Bitcoin has a lower cost to actually be a custodian of, and that was reflected in those fees. I'm curious, do you think it's just a matter of banks and other custodian institutions being allowed to hold and lend against Bitcoin, a policy change in the United States that is going to overnight see these low interest rates, or do you expect them to maybe start with a 8% rate and over time kind of build their way down to maybe a 2 or even a 1% interest rate?
I don't see that at all, because now there's, for me, as somebody who's been in this industry for 11 years, there's a big difference between the Bitcoin mindset and a fiat maximalist mindset. And the fiat world is designed to extract value from you. Companies like People's Reserve, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a new generation of companies built by Bitcoiners who understand what Bitcoin is in order to bring this marketplace to fruition. They'll start it at 8%, and then as demand goes up, the interest rate will go up, not down, because their idea is that they're trying to extract value. But in a Bitcoin economy, see, Bitcoiners are not stupid, right? They did their homework on the ETFs. They knew low fees. Well, Bitcoiners are not stupid. You're not gonna be allowed to extract value from people, and if you do, then you're gonna get called out for it. And then when you're getting called out for it, your brand is gonna get destroyed, and that demand will flow somewhere else, and it's gonna flow to places like People's Reserve, who are built for we the people. We have a Bitcoin mindset where we want to deliver value to you, not extract value to you. You see some other lending products popping up in the marketplace, which are honestly really cool, and I love to see it. You can't pay for this kind of marketing, so it's beautiful that this narrative is now being taken to the forefront, because People's Reserve has been here since the end of 2021, and this narrative has been ignored. But now that this narrative is picking up, people start to care. But what you see in those products is that the lender is actually going to benefit as well from the Bitcoin that's integrated into the product, right? So you come to them to borrow, they force you to buy Bitcoin, but then they force you to share the benefits of owning that Bitcoin that they forced you to buy. It's a very interesting concept, but the foundation of that concept is built on a fiat mindset of value extraction. What we're going to see are Bitcoin companies and real Bitcoiners who go to Bitcoin companies. And why are you going to come to us? Number one, because you trust us as your counterparty. Number two, because you're getting a lower rate. And then the final question to that is, well, why would you lend your money to a Bitcoiner at 4% when you can lend it to the government at 5%? Or you could write a regular mortgage instead of a self-repaying mortgage at 6%. Why would you do that? Risk. Risk is the ignored dynamic here. There's a reason that the banks write the mortgages and then package them together in a mortgage-backed security and then sell them to the suckers. Because if they wrote the mortgages and they were really that good of a product, they would keep them on their book. They wouldn't package them together and sell them off and get the risk off of their book. They're too risky. So the real problem here is risk. And when you incorporate Bitcoin into the product, it reduces risk significantly. Therefore, we can reduce yields. Bitcoin lending products are actually how you get interest rates sustainably lower. You can actually have low interest rates because you have Bitcoin-backed products without stating the interest rate. If TradFi wanted to state the interest rate lower, that's the only way that they can keep it lower. Then they have to perform all these yield curve controlled magic tricks, whether it's public or non-public. They're doing yield curve control in order to suppress the rates. Excuse me. And when that happens with Bitcoin, they have to suppress the rates because the risk is too high. Like right now, it's the duration risk, right? The 10-year note is paying upwards of like 3.8 or 4%, but real inflation is 10%. So you have a negative real rate of return. They have the natural interest rate. If interest rates were not being suppressed right now, I believe the interest rate would be above the rate of inflation because lenders are not stupid and they want to get a real positive rate of return. And we would see interest rates above 10%. But interest rates above 10% would destroy the banks. It would destroy the insurance businesses, which is 12% of U.S. GDP. It would pretty much destroy everything because they bought all these products during the zero interest rate policy time frame, where interest rates were really, really stated low and suppressed that way. And now they want to raise interest rates, but they don't want to raise them too far and lose control of the yield curve. So they have to perform all these different things to suppress rates. Rates want to go higher, not lower. They have to state the rate lower. Naturally, rates want to go higher. With Bitcoin, naturally, rates want to go lower. And that's because of the reduction in risk. So I think the proper mindset of the Bitcoin businesses, understanding what they have and how to analyze risk, is really what's going to accelerate the marketplace, because you're very happy getting 3 or 4% APY, especially when 4% is like a long-term historical average. You're very happy getting that with no risk, and you can even take lower if that risk is eliminated in an over collateralized position. And it's a natural economic incentive that creates a sustainable low interest rate system.